Welcome to the second series of the UW Combined Fund Drive Lunch and Learn. My name is Beza Ayala, and then we're going to start with a land acknowledgement today. Um, so the University of Washington acknowledges the Coast Salish peoples of this land and the land which it touches and the shared waters of all tribes and bands within the Snoqualmie, Tulalip, and Muckleshoot nations. And this acknowledgement does not take in place of authentic relationships with Indigenous communities, but just serves as a step in honoring the land that we're on. And so again, my name is Beza Ayala, and I'm the University of Washington Combined Fund Drive 2025 campaign assistant. And in my role, I have the amazing opportunity to connect nonprofits to the University of Washington community. And so today's Lunch and Learn, we have lunch and learn of nonprofits, local nonprofits that are technology focused and leading efforts in the technology access and digital equity space. And so in a moment, I'm going to invite speakers to introduce themselves and their organizations. They'll have about 10 minutes each to present, and then afterwards, we'll open it up for questions. And if you do have any questions, just kind of put it in the chat. Feel free to private message me as well, and we'll get them answered. And so I'm going to send a link for folks to be able to also donate to the nonprofits here today through payroll. And then if you can't do payroll, we also have a credit card option for those, just for another option. And so without further ado, we're going to start with our program today. We have three awesome nonprofits. We have Technology and Information for All, we have Technology Access Foundation, and we have Unloop. And so we're going to start with Technology and Information for All. And we have Emma here today who has made time for us. And so, Emma, if you could tell us more about yourself and TINFA as a whole.
Yes, thank you so much, Beza, for inviting me to this presentation. My name is Emma Ledoux, and I'm the co-founder on ED for TINFA, Technology and Information for All. A little bit about me. You hear probably from the accent. I'm originally from France, the west part of France, actually, Brittany. But I've lived in the Seattle areas for over 25 years. TINFA, Technology and Information for All, our mission is to empower teachers to bring 21st century skills to kids in rural areas of Latin America. Kind of the vision that we have with TINFA is that every kid, no matter where they come from, should be able to have an opportunity to discover and to pursue their dreams. As we talked about, I co-founded TINFA. TINFA is a fairly small organization, a very small organization. Our budget is under 250K, and so what we do is that we provide some equipment to schools, elementary schools. We focus on fourth, fifth, and sixth grade. Sixth grade in places like Guatemala is still elementary school. And then we stay with these teachers for up to 2 years so that they can learn how to use the technology and how to use it specifically in the classroom. So the training that we provide is specifically for working in the classroom for the teachers. These are not computer labs. It's not a one-to-one for the students. It's one computer for the teacher, a projector for their classroom, and for them to be able to teach with the help of technology. We are in places where there is no technology at all. So the only thing that teachers currently has is a whiteboard. We work with the school on providing the internet. We provide for about half of the cost of a computer, and then the teacher provides the other half, and then we stay with them for up to 50 hours of training first year, And then if the school on us, we are happy about the relationship, then there is a lot of work that needs to be done on both sides. Then there is another 50 hours of training the second year. Um, why Guatemala or Latin America? Latin America because we're on the same time zone, so that makes sense. And why Guatemala? We had a board member at some point that had a connection to Guatemala before we have been in Colombia and in Mexico. And then he put us in contact with the local organization there, FUNDAP, with whom we've been continuing on with a great collaboration. So that's how it started in Guatemala. We work with 12 schools at a time. So we're actually going to have the graduation of our schools that have gone through 2 years of training. The graduation is happening next month. So we're super excited about that. That's going to be 59 teachers on 12 schools. That's going to be graduating from the program. Um, as far as what we're looking for, we're always looking for support. We so we work. Our programs are 100% in Latin America, specifically in Guatemala. Our board is 100% in Seattle. So we are always looking for committee members that could, if they are interested in the work we are doing, and whether that's in communication, whether that's in fundraising, in finance, we are always looking for committee members. As far as departments with UW, we are always open to partnerships with, different departments of UW, and we are also open to internships. So if some students, we are usually looking at students that are in kind of at least in their third years of studies, but we're also looking at internships if folks would be interested in getting involved with us. So I think that's kind of all I had to say, or at least for now. And as I understand that the Q&A will be happening at the end of the program, right?
Yes, thank you for that, Emma. And I'm gonna put in a link for folks to be able to give as well, just so people can see. Hopefully you can click that. And so thank you for explaining that, that I was wondering about the connection with Guatemala and the Seattle offices. And so it was great to be able to clear that information up. And so that really, thank you for that presentation. And so we have tech, I think we're gonna have Unloop now. We have Troy here, also based in Seattle. And Troy, if you could tell us a little bit about Unloop and also about yourself and how you got to Seattle.
Yeah, it sounds great. Thanks everyone for having me, and very excited to hear more about all of these great organizations. Troy, he, him. Also, can I get a thumbs up? Are folks seeing the same screen I'm seeing, the Unloop Lunch and Learn? Okay, perfect. Thank you. So I'm born and raised Seattle. I grew up in Montlake, so not too far from UW, and then went to UW for undergrad, studied ethnic studies with a concentration in Asian American studies, and graduated around 2013. So just very excited to be back with the UW community. Thanks for having me. So I'm part of Unloop. We're a nonprofit based out of Seattle, but serving participants across Washington. Um, we got started in 2016, and our goal really is to build digital pathways for justice impacted adults. And so we work with folks returning from incarceration, right now focusing on digital literacy, a lot of AI awareness with how much it's increasing right now, and then transferable job readiness skills that really set up the foundation and open doors to stable and living wage work. So here we have a picture of some of our participants with one of our board members who is also a software engineer manager at Starbucks. And so we were able to set up a little tour of the headquarters in the tech office space. and really get to show some of our participants about what it looks like to work at a tech office, what are the technologies Starbucks is using. And I think something special about this, our participant here on the right, in the glasses, this picture was taken in, I think, 2023. This was his first time in this kind of space. And since 2023, he's been working with us, and he's actually now, as of maybe a month or so ago, a software engineer at Starbucks, which is really, I think, just he just proves a lot about all the hard work our participants are putting in, and we're just very excited for them. Um, I think just to do a high level overview, there are some major challenges right now. Folks who are formerly incarcerated or some kind of justice impacted, or have some kind of justice impacted experience, they are facing a 27% unemployment rate, which is 5 times the national average. A lot of folks coming out are lacking basic digital access. So not having computers, limited internet, and little to no confidence with modern tools. So we work with folks who have been inside anywhere between a few months to a year, all the way up to 20 years, or more than 20 years. So just imagine, where our technology was just even, pre-pandemic, right? From 2020 to 2025, so much has changed. So for folks coming, who have been down for quite a long time, there's a big gap. And then we're also just seeing this leads into, without foundational digital literacy, many face barriers into advancing in their training, navigating the job market, and securing living wage employment. And so what we're seeing here at Unloop is employers need reliable, motivated workers who can really learn quickly and adapt to the constant technological changes that are always happening. And Unloop participants bring that resilience, bring that problem solving and readiness to work. Um, uh, a lot of these qualities are reflected in their lived experience. We see that a lot of folks we work with are very dedicated and are actually really wanting to, join the workforce. And so, really also want to dispel a lot of myths that some people may hear about folks returning from prison. And then with strong digital foundations, they can contribute immediately to workplaces seeking skilled and resilient talent, while also building lasting stability for themselves and their families. So a lot of the opportunities we're looking to uh, support participants in achieving are ones that have stable or thriving living wage jobs and careers. So we have a few different ways that we work with participants. The initial thing we like to do is really just meet them where they're at. Some people have previous tech background, some have none at all. Some have worked on a computer, some have not ever worked on a computer. And so we meet participants where they are, and then particularly look at building digital literacy and AI awareness through hands-on learning. So right now we are in a cohort of actually, yeah, we're in a cohort of digital literacy program right now. So we have about 15 participants that we're running through curriculum to learn how to learn how to email, learn the G Suite tools, also learn how to be safe on the internet, and just be a really good digital citizen, and not fall for scams and things like that. And then also introduce them to some AI tools, just very introduction based tools. And then previously, we've also ran software engineering cohorts. So this picture here is our last software engineering cohort. I think what's special about these cohorts we're running is we do it in partnership with one of our alums who we started working with, I think, 2018, 2019. And since working with us, he also has become a software engineer in the industry. But he's realized that one of his passions is actually to help teach. especially those who have lived experience similar to his. And so we've been able to hire him on as a partner, and take on cohorts that are all participants who are formerly incarcerated, and allow them to enter these programs free of cost. And then we're also able to provide things like machines or laptops for them to use during these programs. And then he really just helps them through this curriculum, as someone who's experienced similar backgrounds, a similar background. Um, we really see that this cohort-based model has been really beneficial for our participants. Just being able to work with other people that are in similar situations. They help each other really build each other's confidence. And so we try to do community gatherings as well, community voice sessions to hear their feedback, and things like tech tours where we go to different tech offices to really immerse in the industry. And then just overall support. We provide guidance to participants, and then some other material support as well. I think this is just a high-level overview of what supporting materially can look like for Unloop. A lot of the fundraising will go towards these different priorities. So laptops for participants. These are really important. I was able to drop by a work release house where one of our most recent, like, new participants just signed up for our digital literacy program, but she had no laptop to use. And so we were able to provide her a machine, and get her set up before the program started. And now she's reaching out to us to ask how we can help the rest of the women in her housing unit access this program. And she wants to help start a partnership between Unloop and her work release house, which I think is really amazing. We're also collecting fundraising for just overall participant support. So this goes to any needs that participants are in need of, or issues they're facing. So we've done things like support with emergency housing assistance, or I think the most recent one is someone was behind on their electricity bill, and we saw that it was a need, and they needed to have electricity, especially to conduct our program online. So we were able to get some emergency funds to them, and then they were able to get on a payment plan to make sure that their lights don't go out. And then other fundraising will go towards program expansion. Um, Yeah, just to wrap up, so right now we're funded through some grant funding, so we're really appreciative of the federal funding that we're receiving right now. But of course, similar to other nonprofits, this landscape is getting really difficult to navigate with the funding that's being reduced because of these different programs that are supporting marginalized communities. But we've been able to keep it going. And we really believe in this cohort-based model, and see just the type of impact through our participants and what they've been able to achieve. It's really their hard work and dedication that does a lot of this. We just see ourselves as helping facilitate some of those opportunities, but supporting Unloop will be supporting those participants directly. So that's really it. Thank you everyone for the time and just for having Unloop here today. This is my email. I can put it in the chat, and then this is a quick tiny URL that goes to our PayPal, which is /unloopdonate. And then we would love people to just subscribe to our newsletter. This is our website, and you can just put in your information, and we'll be sure to get you onto our list. So thank you all so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Troy. That was great. I wasn't as familiar with Unloop, but I really appreciated the work that you did. And so that helped me as well. And so I know that you were doing really great work in Seattle. And I feel like I have questions to ask you too, so I'll save that for the end. I'm gonna paste the giving form as well for folks that want to be able to give. I have pasted that there. And so we have, last but not least, we have a duo here. We have the Technology Access Foundation. We have Adelaide and Tyrone here today to present to us another Seattle local nonprofit that's working in the technology school field. And so Adelaide and Tyrone, do you want to take it over and let us know a little bit more about the organization and yourselves?
Yeah. All right. Hello, everyone. Hopefully you can hear us okay.
Yep.
So as Beza mentioned, we're from Technology Access Foundation, and I am on the development team and I handle corporate relations. And again, my name is Tyrone Cunningham.
Hi, I'm Adelaide. I work in individual giving, and so we appreciate you letting us be here on your Lunch and Learn. I'm trying to find our PowerPoint. We had it earlier, and then now I can't find it. I know it's gotta be. Hold on. That's not
Totally
it.
okay.
Look on that and then see if there's a tab.
I don't think so. Hold on.
While she's doing that,
Right, while we're getting there.
basically, I'll go over some initial information about TAF. We have a PowerPoint slide. It has about 12 slides in it. Hopefully we'll get through it. If not, then we can definitely answer questions afterwards. But TAF's been around for 29 years, and TAF was started by Trish Malines-Zizico, who was a software developer at Microsoft. And can you imagine back in the 80s, a Black woman working at Microsoft and being exposed to technology and facing all the challenges in corporate America being in technology. And Trish decided to leave Microsoft and start Technology Access Foundation to help kids of color learn about technology and expose them to career opportunities. So here we are today with a mission working with public schools to transform public schools that have been kind of overlooked, underserved, and what I call underestimated. So go to our history. Okay. Or go out mission, I guess. So here's an example of our mission, and I'll let you all take a look at this. But basically, when you look at our mission, think about a diverse student base that's been underestimated in the public school system and not have the benefits in public education when it leads to technology. Okay. And here's a graphic of our
Our timeline.
Thank you, Adelaide. And the key points here is going from after-school programs to having our own school, our own campus, and then eventually building relationships with public schools to merge our school into a public school. So we currently have, if you look at 2017, we have a 6th through 12th grade co-managed school, which is our flagship school. It's 6th through 12th grade, and we integrate a project-based learning model with a focus on STEM and career opportunities. Through our partnerships and our other programs at TAF, this gives you an idea of the students that have been impacted since we began and to where we are right now. And this is a combination of our school partnerships, our program called the Martinez Fellowship, where we work with teachers that are getting their teaching certifications, and we help recruit teachers of color to help place them in the public school system. And I believe now we're at I want to say our 15th cohort of educators that we work with underneath the TAF umbrella and the districts that we're associated with through the Martinez Fellowship. And as I mentioned earlier, this is kind of a snapshot of our school and some of our programs under the TAF umbrella. The top left corner, again, is our 6th through 12th grade Taft-Asahi School. Transform Ed is basically where we kind of train the trainer program. So we partner with schools that we're not co-managing, and we train those schools to integrate our pedagogy, our project-based learning model into that school. Network for EdWork is a program where we work with, again, underneath with our Martinez Fellowship with educators of color that are either have or getting their teaching certification. And we work with them when they want to maybe make a transition from being a teacher to an admin to a principal or a superintendent. So we have supporting programs to help them through those challenges and trials and tribulations when they're wanting to advance their career. Academy for Advancement is we bring in educators to train them on our pedagogy from our schools that are currently partnering with TAF and schools that may be interested in partnering with TAF in the future.
Yeah, I like to say that for this slide specifically, it's like the top two squares are going to be how we're really interacting directly with students. So TAF at Sahali is our 6th through 12th grade school, and then all of our Transform Ed partner schools are other schools and other districts that we work with. So we have partner schools in Tacoma, Federal Way, and also out in Yakima. And then the bottom two are going to be more of those sort of adult-facing programs, working directly with educators and doing professional development with educators.
And this is kind of an
Yeah.
outlook of what Adelaide just mentioned about the schools that we're currently partnering with. And most of our schools are south of Seattle. And we just recently, the far right, we just recently partnered with a school in Yakima, so in Eastern Washington right now. It's about 180 students. And we're hopefully going to keep engaging with that school as going into the new school year.
Hey guys, we're here at our school, TAF at Sahali, with one of our awesome science teachers. How has STEM by TAF model changed the classroom experience for you and your students?
I think students are more engaged when they know that they're solving real world problems and contributing to things bigger than just our school. I also get to take on like a mentor role instead, where I'm helping kids solve what they want to solve instead of telling them what I want them to do or learn. That really builds students' self-confidence and their ability to think for themselves. Students really remember what they learned. So even projects we did in 6th grade, in 8th grade, kids are still talking about it, which when you're just doing something out of a textbook, kids aren't always able to tell you what they did. But when you do a big project like that, they remember, and they remember why they were doing it and what they learned from it.
Can you tell us a story that highlights this change?
So one of my favorite projects that I've worked on is a project we do for 6th grade, where we study biodiversity in cities. We also got the district gardening expert to come in and work with our kids. She was able to contribute so much to our projects. She was able to tell them what's really feasible and what isn't, and how to increase biodiversity and why that's so important. And even kids who had me in 6th grade that are in high school now can tell you what their 6th grade project was. So you can see that they've really bought into it and that it is contributing to who they are as a person, because they've really learned how to work together, how to be excited about something, and how to solve it.
As an educator dedicated to change, why does this shift matter?
If you want the world to be a better place, then you have to teach the youth how to make it a better place. And teaching them science or math or humanities separate from the reason you might do those things is not as valuable as showing them that these are tools you can use to solve a real world problem, and that you are capable, no matter what age you are, to solve those problems. And I just think that's really valuable. Like, it makes me feel like what I'm doing as a teacher is something that's going to impact the world and make it better.
Thank you for talking with us, Ms. May.
So a couple of things that I want to highlight in that video, in addition to the pedagogy and the project-based learning, is our kids' social and emotional support and building their confidence. So hopefully you saw that in the interview with the teacher, there are kids being able to ask those questions and be comfortable in that environment. And that's another kind of an asset that we bring to the schools when we bring in the additional service around project-based learning in our partnerships. This slide here speaks to, again, the additional programs underneath the Network for EdWork umbrella with TAF. The Martinez Fellowship is, again, the Teachers of Color. Ally engagement is working with white educators to assist the teachers of color navigate, again, when they go from maybe the classroom into a different career, like an admin or in the district level. I'm not sure if this video will play.
This
We might
video
skip this
doesn't
one.
want to go, but
We'll skip. As an example, as you all know, community is important, collaboration is important. This is a snapshot of some of our community partners that help expose our kids to different career paths, support our workshops, and provide, again, financial contributions to TAF for hiring our model and having the resources to partner with schools in the district that we're currently partnering in.
field trip photo.
Yeah, again, this is a field trip. We went to T-Mobile, and our kids got to experience their technology center and actually do a Q&A session with 4 people that represented different departments within T-Mobile. So again, it's important for our students to see people who look like them And it was very represented, working with T-Mobile when they had the ability to do that and allow our kids to ask questions.
My name is Ariel Wahab. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator at the Mass Center Aquarium of Highline College. We have been invited to TAF to be a project and event mentor, where we bring our problems that we have at the aquarium, such as keeping an octopus occupied while they're in our captivity. And so we approach a bunch of different students and groups to try to solve that problem. So we're gonna bring on stage a group of girls here who have given us a solution to our problem, and that we'll see here very soon. What is your project's name, and why did you choose to train an octopus?
Our project name Octospin. We chose this idea because we wanted to help make a pretty food house for the octopus and see how smart they are.
So Octospin is your invention designed to help keep the octopus engaged and give it food. Awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about how your project actually works?
Yeah. Here we put the food by open this up. Then we close it. And the octopus comes open this side, enters. If the octopus is too big, it's use the tentacle to get food and come back. If the octopus is small, it goes all the way down that the tube and gets food, then come back out. The microbit lets the octopus know there is food by the light that will flashing inside.
Awesome.
That's just an example of our projects from our last year's varsity luncheon.
And we're going to skip these slides and go down to the TSP slide.
There we go.
So this is another program that we offer our students at our co-managed school in Federal Way, and it's the Teacher Scientist Partnership Program. So we looking for people to volunteer to come in and teach our kids about technology. And that, again, that could be from AI to software development to website design. So that's one of the volunteer opportunities that we're currently looking for. And this program was initially supported by Amazon. This Leave to Learn program is a fairly new program, and it's basically getting our kids to learn everything from, building their resume to interviewing skills to reaching out themselves for internships and building a network to support them. And we work on getting them off-campus experiences and also bringing workshops to teach our kids those skills. And as always, we're always looking for volunteers, guest speakers, and people to maybe allow our students to do job shadowing.
So same thing. We have some upcoming things.
You say talk about the Colombian beer and board game.
Oh yeah, we've got if you want to come hang out with TAF staff, we've got an upcoming opportunity. It's the climbing beers and board games. It is at Momentum Indoor Climbing in Soto, November 12th, 6 through 10 p.m. And there's everything in the name. There's climbing, there's board games, there's beers. We have a raffle, so it's a good time. There's a board game basket, usually a climbing basket. It's a fun fundraiser. November 12th, Momentum Indoor Climbing. It's on our Technology Access Foundation socials. We're at techaccess.org. We know we ran over a little bit on time, so so thank you everybody for letting us talk about TAF. We already partner with UW with our Martinez Fellowship Program. Their education department is a place we partner with regularly to find Martinez Fellows. So we appreciate all that UW has already done for us, and of course those who are willing to donate to our cause.
Awesome. That was great. I know that there was a partnership, but it's great to have this opportunity to be able to highlight you and see, be able to invite you here. And so let's see if I can highlight, I don't know, can I? All right. Sounds good. I'm gonna just add the folks that were invited here today. So we can we can start the Q&A portion. If folks have questions, you can put it in the chat, and I can also relay that to folks on the panel. And so I guess my question, my the beginning of the questions. So many of you work with the intersection, or maybe we can start with Jolyn, and then we can maybe let me start. So many of you work in the intersection of innovation and inclusion, and how do you balance that adopting new technologies and making sure like the tools remain accessible just because it's so fast paced, especially now? How do you to make it like equitable for the communities you serve? I see like Emma in the Guatemala, and then Troy with folks that, had been formerly incarcerated, and then Taft for the students. How are you able to kind of adopt that fast moving culture? And I guess if anyone wants to be first, I don't want to like call anyone out. So does anyone want to go first, or I can call someone?
We can go.
Okay.
So part of something about being so tied into education is that we have a beautiful opportunity to kind of talk and have frank discussions with our kids about those sort of changing landscape in tech. So for instance, like what are the ethics around AI? You see in the news all the time about people using ChatGPT to cheat, and as much as that's a big concern for education, it's also like, well, but that's where technology is moving, is having this innovation in that space. And so we want our kids to be aware of that kind of technology and how it might impact their futures in sort of like what roles they're getting, what roles they might, the AI prompt engineer is like a whole career field that like nobody knew was going to be a thing. So I think part of it, how we address the sort of shifting landscape of tech, is continuing to expose our children to career pathways, like having our community partners at T-Mobile being able to talk about, well, this is a day in my life, and this is how I use these kinds of technologies. And then also just being able to like build into the school day, like, all right, we're going to talk about the ethics behind, AI and where it's going, and let them make their own informed decisions with their lives and their trajectories.
You're on mute. You're on.
Oh yeah, thank you. So I was gonna say yes, it's a lot of times it's information is what's
Yeah.
missing, and that like gap. It's like not knowing. Sometimes there's also being scared because you don't know too. And so thank you for answering that. And so does anyone want to take that question as well?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can share really
Troy?
quickly. Yeah, I think maybe on our end, the only additions I can think of is just doing our best to open up discussions between like with our community. So that includes like participants, but then also employer partners and alumni, just to hear feedback from what's working and what's not working. So I think for Unloop, how that's looked in particular, kind of recently is historically we've focused only on training up software engineers to support people into software development tracks. But we started in 2016 where there was a big boom and a lot of opportunity for software engineers. As we're seeing, the tech landscape transform, from our research, there's a lot less opportunity for entry-level developers right now. And so we've been able to reach out to some like an alum who is now at Amazon as a hiring manager, and get his insight. We've reached out to like one of our champion volunteers at Stripe who gave us similar insight, and then also a former board member who was at Starbucks but is now at the WNBA doing tech. So just like really listening to get insight from the high level, and then also going down to the ground and really getting feedback from our participants, to see what is it that's been helpful for them and what isn't as helpful. So as we're going through this current digital literacy program, we're trying to do assessments with participants after each session to see what's working and what's not working, and really use all of that in combination to inform the programming and how to make sure things are accessible.
Yeah, it's it can be complicated, I'm sure, because I remember that boom when it's like everyone was like, tech is the place to be. And then now it's kind of like, oh, it's hard to
Yeah,
get in. It's like from some folks, if they're in, it's like layoffs and things like that. And
layoffs
so
and more
yeah.
layoffs. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very complicated. It's good to know, they're able to kind of have that connection with the alumni and just like folks that are in it still and that. So good that you have that the relationship building as well. And so, Emma, do you want to answer that question?
So on the TINFA side, I guess we have integrated AI into the trainings that we do for the teachers, and obviously to prepare lessons, to do evaluations, all these things is something that unless our teachers in Guatemala have a computer, they are not able to use. So on our side, it's like, yes, you have these tools and they can be super helpful for you. Another thing that's actually huge for us is that because of now translation is so easy, our teachers have access to all information that's in all the languages, which again, for us and for teachers that are kind of isolated in rural Guatemala, that's a big deal. And as far as how do we include, like how do we handle inclusion, and how do we make sure that we are doing that for the people? We are lucky enough to have been on the ground now for several years, where we have a cohort of teachers that have graduated from our programs. And some of these teachers are exceptional teachers, and they stay with us wanting to provide feedback on the curriculum, on the types of things that are being taught to our new cohort. So having that pool of teachers that are so eager to learn and stay with us over the years is something that we find really helpful.
That's amazing. I think the part of the language piece as well, it's something when working with international, you might, that's even something that we deal with here as well. And so it's great to be able to have that translation. And I think I'm sensing a model of like cohorts are like now, like, hey, I can help. Like I went through this program and I can help now. And so that's really great. And I think I'm like now maybe one of the students at TAF, they might turn up to be, a teacher that's like, hey, I was a student here at TAF. So I can see that happening too, the same as like TINFA and Unloop. And so, Jolyn, do you have a question as well?
I had a question and then I got really caught up in listening to what y'all were saying, so now I've lost it.
No, you're totally good. You're totally
But
good.
actually, I do have, but I did think of a question. So, I loved hearing about all the work you're doing. I think technology, for better or for worse, right, is obviously in our lives and it impacts us all really differently. And we have to find ways to work with it and move forward with it. What do you think? And this is for everyone because you're all using technology in different ways and your programs use technology in different ways. What do you think is both the biggest misconception that people might have about the audiences or the clients that you're working with? And like, what is the big, like, if you had one takeaway that you wanted us to know, like, what's your, like, like from TAF, like that octopus thing from TAF, y'all, like, I was, it was amazing. Like, and like solving real world problems is so like, practical. So, like, if there was something that you wanted people to like, if we were good to go and tell your story later, what are we telling folks?
To that question, I think I'll go back to your first comment about perception, right? I think a lot of people think that students in public schools have access, right? And generally speaking, right? Because, technology has came down, when we talk about hardware and prices, they think school districts are being supported and every kid has a computer and have access to that, right? And we know that not to be true, right? There's definitely a separation as the work that we're doing, all of our nonprofits. So that's one thing. I would say as far as the conversation piece and the one takeaway would be that we all were a student at one point. We have a connection, right? And if we think about what we didn't have and what we missed out on, and being able to provide that for all the students now, right? Because we all have our time and date, and in our specific time and dates, there was something that was specific that had a positive and a negative effect on our education. So if we can eliminate those and provide an access for every student and give them the ability to have a voice and teach them the way they individually learn, I think that's the key.
Yeah, I'll follow up a little on that and just say like we were all students, we are all students all our lives. We are lifelong students. And I think, you know, it's just more important every day when we're facing the world as it is and as it continues to develop, we need to be able to equip our students and equip all students with the tools to not get by, but thrive, both in their educational life now and also like as lifelong learners. So.
Great. Does anyone also want to take that question?
Yeah, so misconceptions. I think some of the big misconceptions for teachers that are in rural Guatemala is, oh well, you know, I don't even want to say it, but these guys are so smart. They are, I mean, these teachers are creative. They are using whatever tools they have, and they have an incredible amount of motivation. And that's something that I think with all the populations that the three of our organization are working with, I think that might be a common theme, which is we are talking about people that have lacked the opportunity. It's not like they're not smart. It's not that they are not motivated. They just need to have this opportunity. So that would be one big misconception. And I think otherwise, what really surprises me is how grateful our teachers are. How grateful they are. It's so many times the feedback is, thank you so much for paying attention to us. We're surprised that you from this other side are just paying attention to us. That actually touches us deeply, that another human being that doesn't know us is paying attention to us.
Resonate with a lot of what's just been said. Um, yeah, I mean, for the folks we serve at Unloop, there's quite a lot of misconceptions about people who are returning to the community, and you know, oftentimes people think they're unreliable or not safe to be around, and that is just not the experience that we've had at Unloop. Um, I think it's also really important to keep in the social context of why people are incarcerated and who is often targeted for incarceration. And so that is, I think that contributes to misconception too. But all of that to say, the participants we've had the opportunity to work with have just been very capable and dedicated, and are just looking for similarly opportunity. And it's not, I mean, there are people who, are in their training experience, but once they're through it and have really grasped the material, they're as good, if not better than other, talent in the field. I think just one quick example, we worked with someone who was down over 20 years. He came out and he really just went into the books and into the machines, trying to really learn as much as he could. And it was hard. When he was at work release, he had people in his unit telling him, "You should just go to the port. Like, I'm at the port. I'm making like $2,000 a week," was really life-changing money for him. But he was, I think, close to 50 years old, and he knew he couldn't just continue doing really that type of work. And so he was looking for something that he could sustain himself with. And so he ended up applying to one of the big tech companies here in Seattle. He received an offer letter. He got a $10,000 signing bonus. He made it through all the rounds of interviews and everything like that. So it had nothing, he was capable. But at the very last moment, after some of the background checks came back, he got the whole thing taken away. So it wasn't a matter of he wasn't able to do the work. He didn't pass the interviews. He didn't pass the technical questions. It was really about this one thing that was on his background. And so I don't know. At Unloop, we really just think if you're gonna be out, everyone deserves to be able to work and work in a thriving living wage job. So we're really hoping to, through our work, also kind of move the needle on these narratives of people who are returning.
Great. Thank you for your answers. And also thank you, Joellen, for that great question. I was able to learn too more. I have one more question. I don't know if how much, we can get through it, but I was wondering, in your programs, have participants expressed that like curiosity about like AI replacing like jobs or replacing teachers or like, creative roles? And how do you approach that question while also just like encouraging them, because you want them to continue in technology, but it's like, how can you like approach that fear?
Still in discussion.
We get that question every day, Tyner. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Because I think I touched on it a little earlier. It's just that, yeah, it's a hard space because, we want to continue to, one of our biggest cores for our STEM by TAF learning model is developing critical thinking skills and developing problem solving skills. And if we're outsourcing those skills to AI, then that can feel like a challenging space. Are we still developing those skills? And I think that's why our core of project-based learning is also so critical to the learning model, is that it's just like you are actually doing that hands-on learning. You are doing it in a way that makes sense to you, is culturally relevant to you as a student, is centered in your community as a student, has that real why am I doing this, and not just like, well, I need to know my times table because they say so. So gosh, I mean, yeah, we get that question all the time. We try to answer that question as best we can all the time. And I think the real thing is that we are going to try with all of our students and with all of our educators our best to continue to help them develop those core skills, because that will never go away. People are going to people for the end of time. And so long as we can continue to have them drive their own learning and go after what's interesting to them and be able to think critically and develop problem solving skills for that, I think that will always continue to make humanity resilient. And yeah, it's a challenging space for AI. I won't lie, because also, again, that's where a lot of tech jobs are going. That's where a lot of the landscape in general is going, right? Yes, in 2016, it was like, we'll go be a software developer. Like you said that, Trent. I was like, yeah, we hear that a lot too now in our community partners who come speak to our kids, right? It is not so cut and dry as to where the future is, if they want to have a future in specifically a tech role. But a lot of our students don't. Some want to do healthcare. Healthcare is not going to get taken over by AI. There may be AI embedded into it, but at the end of the day, someone's got to look at your broken bones. I don't know. That's maybe reductive, but I think there's a lot that won't ever be able to be fully taken. But I think I understand where the fear comes from, because I think it is really impacting the tech sector right now. It just is. So, yeah, I think I rambled a little on that, but
I would say on our side, even before AI, the teachers, when we would come to a school, some of the teachers would really be like, this is like, oh, are you coming to us so that you can replace us? So even we've seen that, for the last 10 years. And I think, basically, we feel strongly that, whether that's the influence on the motivation of a kid, it's coming, number one, from their parents, and number two, from their teacher. It's not coming from a computer. That human connection is something that's actually really critical for that influence and for that motivation. So what we tell our teachers is that Well, you need to adapt to the tools that are available to you, but you are the centerpiece for these kids. You are the one that's going to make a difference. This is not, the computer is not going to make a difference. You are the one making the difference, and you need to learn these tools. And at this time, I don't feel like we need to change that narrative. I think it's still the case.
Yeah, I'll be really quick because that cover what was just mentioned and what's in the comment right now. Our chat is the same, yeah, same approach we've been taking. I think the way we've been trying to adjust to it has been, so we've done the software engineering cohorts and the digital literacy cohorts. We're gonna now, I think for 2026, we're gonna start introducing some AI fluency programs. Um, uh, with the emphasis though that it's really critical thinking that is still needed. But we should still understand what tools there are and know how to use them. But really emphasize it's still the people to people that is needed. And that is what we've heard from partners that what they're hiring for. It's if there are people, who know the AI, it's good, but if you know how to think in systems and processes and know how to use the AI well, that will be kind of the edge too. So yeah, it's not a copy paste. Now we have it. Now we don't need to think kind of situation, but yeah, it is impacting a lot. So yeah.
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 Thank you. I was curious too how like folks are, because I know we talk about it a lot, but I'm like, how are the tech companies or like the ones that are trying to like build people up? Like, how are they dealing with this? So I thank you so much. I'm gonna put in the giving form in the chat for everyone that's still here today. Thank you so much, Adelaide, Tyrone, Troy, Emma. Hopefully, folks leave here with some knowledge about local nonprofits, Seattle nonprofits. It's been really great to learn, and thanks for answering the questions as well. And thanks. We have a third series on November 18th, which is local arts and culture. And folks are putting in their email in the chat. So if you want to email them or look at their website, you can feel free to do so. And so thank you for joining us today, speakers, and also thank you for attendees for joining us today. I hope that we can see you again next time as well. And I really learned a lot. So happy, I guess happy. I'm like, have a great rest of your day. And so we'll see you another time as well.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jillian. Thank you,
Thank
Beza.
you, everyone.
Nice meeting
Bye.
everyone.
Nice
All
meeting
right.
Much.
you.
Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Of course.